All right, Doba Dan, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this special edition of A Little Deeper. With me, I have my boy Michael, who's been producing quite a number of tracks on my album, and we have Empress in the corner. Empress, let's start with you. Introduce yourself. Let the people know where you're from, what you're about, what you do.
My name is Empress Divinity. I am a New York-based artist for right now. Very, very independent, very, very underground at the moment. A lot of my music is non-traditional, gospel faith-based, and it's just kind of an expression of truth, whether that's from my faith, whether that's from moral belief or life experience. That's where I draw most inspiration for my music. I don't make what I like to call clout music. I don't make music to be heard. I make music for people to be heard. So I feel the best approach about being an artist is to be true to yourself, because there are people who need a voice, and the best artists are the voice of some people. So that's me in a box.
And when did you start making music?
I didn't really start making music in the capacity in which I do now until about 3 years ago.
Do you remember how we connected online? I don't know if you remember.
I believe that it was through my YouTube channel.
Yeah. Yeah. Michael, tell us about yourself, man.
Oh man. Well, I was born and raised in Dubai. And been there for about 34, 35 years, I want to say. Started out producing hip hop beats sometime in, I want to say 2008 or 2009, I'm thinking. So when I was about 19 or 20 years old, right? So about 15 years ago, I'd say. And now I've moved back to Slovakia. Well, moved back to Slovakia for the first time. Bit of a culture shock. As for the music part of things, I just really like the sound of hip hop, and being someone in Dubai, and back in those days, internet wasn't easy to come by. You need to have some kind of, like your parents needed to be working, a pretty decent salary to get some kind of internet in Dubai, with those, what was it, like 128 or 56K, with the sound and stuff, or 256. So yeah, you paid by the hour, and you really had to make a lot of those minutes that you spent online. So learning to produce hip hop and stuff, and everything digitally, because it's not like we didn't have a culture over there. So you didn't have access to MPCs and all that kind of stuff, and you needed to find out, oh, this is a program that I can use to make beats like Reason and Ableton and stuff. There was a lot of time spent online to get access to a culture that you didn't have access to, unless you were someone that traveled to the US and then came back and got with you a crate of CDs and stuff, and you were selling it to your friends and all that. And they were all CDRs. They weren't even proper releases. So got into hip hop that way, and been producing it since, on and off. In between, some things happened, as life is. Got back into it, and yeah, I split my time now between producing hip hop beats and electronic music, a little bit of synthwave kind of music, a little more aggressive kind of sound, deep and dark, which I've also noticed I've gone with my hip hop music beats. Not really looking for fame and stuff. It was more just out of necessity. Because I don't remember the names of those websites where you'd buy beats from, or where you download the beats from, and they had those tags.
Or like SoundClick, maybe.
Stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And you needed to have a credit card and stuff, and no one had a credit card in those days. And in that age, You know, well, I say in those days because we were just kids, right? So access to credit card was you needed a full-time job and a salary and so on and so forth. So yeah, SoundClick was out of the question, but yeah, so we listened to beats on SoundClick and be like, can you make something like that? Yeah, I can, you know, you just try your worst to try your best to make sound that sounded decent. So beats came out of necessity, um, especially for the guys in Dubai. So you made a lot of connections over there, being one of the few people that produced hip hop beats out there. And to be honest, regardless of how bad it sounded, it was still something that you could use over there. So more or less origin story for you.
And
Yeah, I like that. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
no, go ahead.
That last piece that he added when he was like, regardless of how bad it sounded, it was usable. And the reason I say that is because I feel like that kind of spirit is missing in hip hop right now, where it's just so authentic and raw, and it's really about the expression. It's really about the love of whatever it is that you find that you love about hip
Yeah,
hop and music. And I just feel that is missing currently. I do get that, you know, we are in a digital age and we're like, you know, in an internet fueled place. So you want a certain quality and you want to be able to present things a certain way. But at the same time, like raw talent and just like that raw love and feeling and even having something that you stand for and stand about, like that's missing. So like I love that in his origin, and I love that, you know, that's like a part of his journey.
No, I 100% agree with you. Dash, tell us like what you're working on. How do you get into music and whatnot?
Mate, okay. I'm a drummer. I got into, I've always loved hip hop, as I'm sure we all have. My band broke up, and so I thought, how can I do music on my own? How can I not rely on 6 other people to tell me they can't turn up to rehearsal? It's like, I'll do it myself. So I started rapping, got a couple of EPs out. Yeah, that's pretty much working on the next one. And yeah.
How would you define your style? Because you have a particular style of rapping.
Good question. I rap about what I know, which I think is what everyone should do, which is I don't know, drug abuse and being kind of low on the line of society. But also I do it I like to think I do it in a way that not comparing myself to, but like Ice Cube did in the late 80s. You know, I like the funky samples from old 70s funky tunes as opposed to the trap that's going on now. So yeah, it's like, I think it's like exciting music and a bit too real lyrics or something like that, I guess, is the way you could describe it.
Empress, there's something I wanted to touch on with you that I heard you speaking with Michael before we started recording, actually, about how you were talking about how hip hop is no longer the sound of New York anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, from your perspective, like, how did this come to pass? What are the reasons for this?
Well, in my perspective,
yeah.
So, you know, I'm 29. So that kind of gives you like the eras of hip hop and, you know, music that I've come through in my range. And I feel it was a Y2K thing. In my perspective, also, like I was telling Mike, I'm East Coast based. So that's where I've spent most of my life here in the US. In the Y2K, there was like a big shift to Southern rap. Like the center of hip hop kind of moved to ATL. We got a lot of the South sound, which, you know, I personally, you know, I love the South, you know, and I personally think that's influenced a lot of my sound as well, to aspects of music I make. But I think it was just that. I think it somewhat was a natural progression with that taking place. But the fashion, everything kind of shifted there. And then New York just kind of was quiet for a bit. Like there just wasn't seeming to be anybody breaking through from New York. And if they did, like with a New York sound. And it's just been a minute. And I feel like it's in the last few years, New York has kind of been like making noise again and reestablishing itself. Like this is the birth of hip hop. This is where it was born. We can do it again. You know, we're bringing a new sound, a new flavor, new vibe. And I just think it was a natural progression, but I do think New York is in a position where it has to like prove itself. I don't think that like it hasn't it hasn't been the main sound of hip hop for at least the last decade, like solidly, in my opinion. Because even when the whole thing with like the South took place, the Midwest and then California, they got a big leap onto the scene as well because we had the whole swag era, you know. So, you know, I just think we kind of seeing like, you know, New York get wild again, you know, and even some of the, you know, pioneers of the sound, like they've kind of been back to doing things, you know. Papoose have put out, you know, some works, you know. We have people like Jim Jones and Mano hooking up, and I've heard they have a whole collab project with another artist out. So, you know, I don't say it in a salty way, you know, I just think it's a fact.
And am I correct in saying that you were based in Birmingham, UK at one point?
I wasn't out there, but I was pushing things online for my music in that area at the time.
Oh, okay.
But like I said, that was even before like I was doing music in the form I do now. I come from a very musical family, which I think a lot of people who end up doing music tend to come from some kind of background.
Yeah.
So I always have kind of like sung, written, and, you know, being like, you know, Black in America, like hip hop, rapping, like that's just a part of the culture, you know. So I always like, you know, there was like little freestyles, whatever, but I didn't take rapping seriously. Like I wanted to be a singer and I wanted to, you know, be in a group. I didn't even see myself like in a solo type of way. And yeah, so me doing music the way I do it and really like feeling like, yeah, you know, and I really see myself doing music. Not just for fame, like just, you know, like I don't see myself living life and not doing a form of music. That was like in the last 3 years, you know, with a major focus on rapping over singing, although I do still use both elements in music.
And did you have any contact with UK artists, obviously apart from myself?
No, I never quite got to work with any in that kind of arena, but I think it was mostly like at that time, like a lack of genuine effort. Like music was just still something like that I did, but not that I saw like, you know, seriously, like make a project, complete a whole song, you know, what's your voice? What's your message? Why do you do this? You know, it was just like I said, especially being Black in America, you will find that for a lot of us, music, R&B, hip hop, like that's just a part of culture. Like we just grow up with it. It's just something that we do.
Because I remember my first and so far my only time in New York, 2007. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to go out there, push my music, sell some mixtapes. And because like...
You was in the golden era. You got a full mixtape out.
And it was like, because everyone always talks about how London is like a harsh audience. But New York was like, for me at least, was like the next level of harsh audience. It was like you have to really bring it, like, or people just, and like with the British accent as well, people were like, dude, what are you trying to do?
I think it really comes from what I just said. Like, I think it's the understanding, like, you know, and I think that a lot of Black people will identify with me too. Like when it comes to hip hop, like even though it's so many generations, like, you know, since the original start of it, like a lot of us still were genuinely shocked when we saw how far hip hop has reached. And like there is a hip hop scene in London and there is a hip hop scene in Germany. And, you know, and just seeing like, you know, like Arabic trap and just seeing like how it's spread out across the world. A lot of us still see it like as something like I said, we just do. And so since we just do it, you have a lot of people that's okay at it. You have a lot of people that's good at it. You even have a lot of people that's great at it. But when we start talking about like what we're doing, like trying to get people like to see you like as a genuine artist and like trying to push it here, where there's like a lot of us, you know, I will refer to as foundational Black Americans, like from America, here in America, roots in America, no outside influences, you know. You got to be something different. You got to be something special, because it's just something we do. Like, it's just a part of the culture. Like, I was 8 in Baltimore City, and my mom had a karaoke machine, and like me and my friends would play outside and then just come in, and we'll just be spitting on the mic, like everybody, whether you were good at it or not. It was just like, you know, like double dutch. I don't know if you guys do the jump rope games out there. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it just was what we do, you know.
I want to go around with going off the back of a point Empress just made about genuine artists, because this is quite a pivotal point I hear amongst people in general. Like, Michael, how would you define a genuine artist from your perspective?
Tough one, to be honest, man, because first of all, you've got, of course, you've got vocal skills, right? So that's one. But then, along with the vocal, it has to be what do you call those? Like a Venn diagram of just a set of different things, right?
Okay,
So
yeah.
for me, it's like vocal skills plus your selection of music that you're gonna sing or rap to, right? So your beat selection or music selection, your choice over there, even if it's an acapella, then it's on that sound or those notes that you're gonna bring. Yeah. So there's that, and then there's the lyrics. I know that a lot of, let's say, outside the realm of hip hop music, you've got a lot of artists that have people that write their lyrics for them.
Right.
And then you've got a lot of artists that do their own thing, which is fine. That's okay. Like, you can have someone write or ghostwrite, as we put it in. Well, I don't know if people say it these days, but we used to say ghostwrite back in the day, right? Yeah. So you need to bring it, like, it has to be genuine. It has to be real.
Yeah.
If every song of yours is about heartbreak and stuff, like Adele or I don't know what, Taylor Swift, like those are the top of my head, you know, the most puffish thing I can think of, but they're real, you know. It doesn't matter how famous they are. There's a problem with many people, especially people in the music community or industry, where we're like, we're not on top and we're not in the middle. And we kind of look up at them and they're not genuine and shit like that. But if they're singing and rapping about what they know about, I can't hold it against them. You know, I'm cool with it. It's fine. It's great. If I'm looking for something more street or genuine, and genuine being like, they're talking about the things that are going on in politics or on the streets and stuff, then I'm going to look for an underground rapper, or I'm going to look for a punk band, you know, or I'm going to look for a rock band that's more gritty and grimy. I'm not going to expect it off of Spotify, for example, right? Or record labels. I'd probably find it on Bandcamp, or I need to go to my local, well, in Dubai, it wasn't the case. You didn't have your local record labels or stores, but in Slovakia, like, I can just go off to like the capital city, for example, look for a local record store or one of the few coffee houses that has a kind of music scene in it, and I can actually look for something that's genuine. So to me, it's just, are you doing this music from your heart? It's not a money grab, and to be honest, it is just so difficult to get into music and use it as a money grab. I don't think anyone can do it. You want a money grab? You've got OnlyFans. There you go. You know, you're male, you're female, you can just go on there, and I know OnlyFans is a platform for many things, and that's just the way it's being used now. But you're a dude, you're a girl, whatever you are, you can just go on OnlyFans and strip for the camera, and that's it, right? You can get whatever you want, but that's a money grab. But it is so difficult in music. You have some kind of talent.
I think I agree with a lot of points you just made there. And I believe like it kind of boils down to what you just said. Like a genuine artist is definitely somebody who like knows why they're doing it and what it means to them and what it means to the audience that they're looking to, you know, project the sound of or attract. And I really feel that while in a lot of ways, I feel it's easier to be a genuine artist today than any other time in history because like you
Yeah.
can like a sound, you can like your message, and you can like how you present something, and you can just press a button and send it out on the internet. And that's a genuine artist. It doesn't have anything to do with if I feel you, I might not be your audience. I might not be the voice of the people that you represent, you know, but you could be genuine. You could just put that out there. But a lot of people fall into the toxic trap of what all these social media outlets have given us. And
Yeah.
that's why I term clout music and clout artists, because if you're moved by numbers and you're moved by money and you're moved by fame, let's just put it that way, then you're going to fall into what then projects to be more disingenuous. And I say projects to be because like if that's what motivates you, then that's your genuine motivation. So you're genuinely motivated from the position of I want fame and I want money. And that's dominating right now because we have an internet world which pushes that's what you should want. That's how you should feel, you know, so
Yeah.
that's a dominating opinion around the world. So that sound and that music and that kind of genuine message is being pushed out more than anything. You know, people want to forget a lot of problems. But I believe if just to be a genuine artist, like you just want to say what you want to say, you want to say it how you want to say it, you want to put it out there, anybody can be a genuine artist. Anyone. Whether you're good or not, you could be genuine at what you do. And that's the only difference is what you're doing it for. And even then, like I said, that's just us trying to make, you know, definitions to be like, yeah, I'm genuine and they're not. Because like I said, if money and fame motivates you, it motivates you. The problem is when you have an unfair practice set up that they say this is what is going to be allowed to be successful and this is not going to be successful because it's not beneficial. That's the problem.
No,
That's why we're even having this conversation. Because if everybody was just allowed to be genuine organically, we wouldn't even be talking about this. But the reason we got to be like, this is a genuine artist and this is not, is because since it's set up for something else to be successful and something else not to be, you have to make a decision about your own voice. And that's why we're having a conversation.
Dash, what are your thoughts on this?
I was agreeing with everything they just said. I don't have many thoughts of my own on this subject, but I have agreed with literally 100% of everything I've just heard in the last 7 minutes.
You know what made me think about it was when I was in college years ago, I was working with a dude who really sick producer, sick writer, and he ended up writing and producing for what could have been potentially one of the biggest like UK R&B girl bands, but it fell through. But anyway, years later, he was still at Virgin Records. So I remember calling them up. He had the same number. I called him up, and I wasn't looking for like a leg up or anything. I genuinely respected his opinion on music. So I was just like, look, I finished my first mixtape. I want to send you a copy and get your opinion. And his response to me was, well, Nick, you're still trying to be an artist. And I was like, I'm trying to be an artist.
No, I am. Yeah.
What do you mean I'm trying to be an artist? Like, what are you trying to say? It's like, whether you think I'm shit or whatever.
Yeah.
How am I trying to be an artist?
Exactly.
Trying to be an artist, that's really shit.
Exactly.
Is it as if he measures your? Here's the thing with music or within the music industry. I think that a lot of people will measure your artistry or level of being an artist based on how many clicks, likes, followers, fame, clout, blah blah that you've got, which sucks.
Exactly.
Yeah, like you can have someone that writes poems and paints like street art and then graffiti and so on and so forth, you would still call that person an artist or someone that does pottery.
Mm-hmm.
You'd say,
Yeah.
yes, that's
Yep.
an artist. Okay, that's all good, great, fine. But when it comes to music, there's this divide and there's this line. Like, if you've not crossed this point, if you haven't achieved some kind of fame, or if you haven't made money off of music, you are not an artist.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're a
and
wannabe. Yeah.
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 And I think
Yeah.
that's probably that's what it sounds like to me in that response to you, Nick. So been there, you know. Even as being a DJ, it's the same thing. At one point, you get people telling you, "Oh, you're just a button pusher," or just play tracks of other people. And I'm thinking, there's a lot of work to it. Like producing, DJing, and then writing lyrics for other people, and so on and so forth. There's a lot that goes on in the
Yeah.
background that you don't know.
Mhm.
And like I said, my perspective is limited to what I know. So
Mhm.
I can't speak for the others, for example, but I'm trying to generalize as much as possible so everyone can relate to it. There's an unfairness, and mostly in the music industry, I don't understand why. I can see a kid on the street painting on the wall or on a canvas in school, for example, or learning to play the violin. I don't think any of us would say, "Oh, that kid's not an artist." We'd say that kid's an
Exactly.
artist, right? But
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 see,
it's
then
just the recording industry. Oh my God.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have to look at it because like that and that's what I was saying in the last point. Like there are people who benefit from being able to have the say so over what is an artist because it's so monopolized, you know. So that's what I'm saying. We wouldn't even be having this conversation if it were truly organic. And I think people always want to miss that aspect because then things like that, you're getting scary, you're conspiracy theorying. But like, if it was truly organic, just based off of talents and, you know, people feeling you, because I think we've also lost those kind of artists too. There used to be artists where it's like, truly, they weren't the best voice. They weren't the best, you know, but you could feel them, like, you know, and people have to be heard. And then that's how people would get fame because you could express a people's feeling, you know, more than one in what you do. And they felt heard by you. So they would support you because you were their voice, you know. And there's no humbleness in being artists like that anymore because it's about me,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, you know, so like that's why Dash, when he was telling his, you know, origin in music, and he was like, you know, how he's inspired by some lows and stuff, like that's
Yeah.
important. There's people who are genuinely experiencing that, have experienced that, and like you need to know someone else in this world knows what that's like, you
Yeah.
know. And so yeah, as much as it's about our individual expression as individuals, like I feel what then really makes you like that next level artist is when you decide, yeah, it's about me needing to express myself, but I have realized that there's a people like me and I'm going to be a vessel for that voice. So I feel like any artist that doesn't have a message, I feel like if it's just about the fame, it's just about the money and everything. And that's not a downplay, that's your choice. You can we all have choice, you know. But like a genuine artist for me is knowing your message, is knowing the reason you're doing it and deciding that it's bigger than you.
I wish I could high five you on that.
High
That's
five.
great. Yeah. That's right.
I
That was
100%
great.
agree.
Yeah.
You know what? An ironic kind of reverse of what we're talking about right now. Like with Dizzy Rascal. I remember when Dizzy Rascal was like blowing up in the hood in the UK.
Yeah.
Like the hood, everybody supported him. Yeah, Dizzy's the man. The moment you kind of crossed that threshold and became commercial, people were like, "Oh, he's not real anymore."
Yeah, he went down straight away. Yeah.
But it's like, so there's this weird line where, so many people define a successful artist by the amount of money they make or, you know, the amount of views they get. But at the same time, artists, particularly artists who come from like lower economic backgrounds, when they do
Yeah.
make it, all of a sudden, make it whatever that means. But you know,
Yeah.
when they come into riches, all of a
We know
sudden,
what you mean. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they're not real anymore.
yeah.
Well, that's the hypocrisy of people, you know. They want their cake and eat it too. And that goes back to what I was saying too, when we start talking about Disney, you're getting scary, you know, because it's not organic. In order to get to a certain level of fame, in order to have certain things, you're going to have to minimize yourself, because you're going to have to fit the vision of the people that have the money that was giving you the money. So if they want you to make a song about this, now you're going to have to, you can have a whole album that's about, let's say you've transitioned in life, and you are becoming a parent and you want to talk about that. But they say we need 5 tracks that's for the club. We need 5 strip anthems. You're going to have to give that, you know, and people feel that in their heart. Even if they don't have the words to express that, they know when like you've compromised that thing about you where they felt heard. And that's why like people are really like missing what used to truly bring about the fame. It wasn't just you yourself and then people worshiping you like some idol god, which is more like what fame is today. It was truly like you embody the people. And so they supported you organically because they loved themselves in you. That doesn't exist too much now. And so you have very few artists, like I feel like J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar. I know a lot of people do feel differently, but Drake, where it's like they've been able, Lil Wayne, they've been able to go into that next stratosphere of fame and keep that rawness about them to their core audience, you know, to their core. Like they always speaking to that same people that like, if you had to go back to that struggle tomorrow, they're going to be there.
So they're going back to their roots again.
Exactly. They stay at their roots. And so with that being said, like, you know, that's sacrifices. And that's why I say if you're in this only for fame and money, you know, you're going to lose your artistry because you're not going to be in control of it. And then by the time they throw you a bone, they'd be like, oh, now you can have your masters and now you can do this. Like you're going to be so far from what you set out to do this for and so tired. You're not even going to do that, you know, you're not even going to do that. So I think that's the thin line there. And we see that it's difficult because at that point you have an industry around you. Like literally these people are told how they can dress, when they can dress that way, how they need to look and appear in a certain place, what they need to say, when, like I could really be in a space in my life where it's like, you know, I am in a low, like, and that's what's in me. But you want me to give you a bunch of summertime bangers, like, and that's selling your soul. That's selling your soul. People don't realize that, you know, that is selling your soul when you're not authentic to that thing in you.
No, to me, that's the perfect definition of selling your soul. Because people like, you've probably seen these YouTube videos where they're like, oh, this artist sold their soul. And they look at it in such a like mystical way. No, but what you define there, that is what I would say is selling your soul.
Same. Losing artistic integrity. Perfect. Yeah, well done. Yeah, that was perfectly described.
Yeah.
Have you come across a situation, Nick, in your, I guess in your experience, if that's the right word?
What have I been in that particular situation?
Well, yeah. Have you been in that position? Because there is something. I mean, I could totally relate to what was just said. So yeah, I've been in that position once, and I hated it.
Well, I think Smooth D has been in that position because I asked him to rap on about 3 of my tracks, and they were stupid as fuck. So I think we could all agree, yeah, he's been there before.
No, but I've definitely been in that type of position. I had a single that I essentially shelved for ages because I was trying to. So I had a label situation, like let's say like a semi-major record label situation, and they were like, which the baffling thing is, they came to me like, we love this idea, we love this song that you've done. So I'm like, okay, great. So you know what I'm about, but then you want to sign me, knowing what I'm about, but you want to change everything that I'm about. I don't understand what is the point of this contract you're offering me? And it was just like, it was kind of this take it or leave it. And they offered, I won't say a life-changing amount of money, but it was money that at that moment in my life would have really helped me. And it was just kind of like dangling it in front of me, like, yeah, just
like a carrot to the donkey. Yeah.
And I just had to, I just had to walk away from it. A lot of people, some of my friends said, "Oh, you're crazy. Why would you do that?" But I don't know. Like for me, it wasn't worth what I, like. I don't know if you had recently Jay-Z, for example. He said he regretted writing Big Pimpin'. Did any of you come across that?
Oh no, I didn't come across that. That's crazy.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, he looks back and he regretted writing Big Pimpin'.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, say why?
I don't know that one. Is that because it was a corporate pushed?
No. I think in his case, I think it's more of a situation where, you know, he's matured. Maybe that's not his mindset, and he's looking back. Maybe.
I saw Prince. Like he was one of my favorites. Like music, even while I'm probably doing music today. And I saw in an interview once, it may have been with Tevin Smiley, but he was being asked about some of his younger work. And, you know, at that time, like he had already put out like Musicology, I think. And, you know, he was like, he stands by it. Like it was for that time. It's what it was. And, it's not what he would do now. You know, he's progressed. He was an older man now. Like I'm not bringing out the buttless chaps, you know what I'm saying, at 40, you know, or 50, wherever he was at in life. But, you know, I stand by it. And I think that's another way to see, like, if you've sold yourself at some point, because, like, it's a difference between, like, being young and having grown from a place, but still able to respect where you were. And you may have even heard one of my tracks on SoundCloud, Think About Me. And I say in there, like, you know, I had some delays, you know, I have some regrets, but, you know, I don't regret, you know, because at that time I was exactly who I was supposed to be.
Right.
Yes.
So like, if you're staying authentic to who you are supposed to be, not what someone else says, not what you think someone wants you to be, who you are, then I don't think there should ever be a time in your musical journey where like you regret doing something off of youth.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever the answer.
As long as you feel that way at the time.
Yeah.
You've got nothing to worry
and it was real.
about.
Like you was giving your best.
Tell you to feel that way.
Yeah, you was giving your best. Like that's what you were either experiencing, that's what you knew, you know, like
that's something that was a heartbreak I was going through or something like that.
Like
it's,
on my
it's
project.
an emotion you genuinely felt.
Yeah, like on my project, Death, Burial, Resurrection, the last track is ATM remix. And I actually recorded that first track of that ATM remix when I was 21. So when I decided I wanted to use the track for that Death, Burial, Resurrection project, I still stood by what I did there at 21. Like people have that version downloaded. They still listen to it. Some people prefer it over the version that have made it to the album. But like, you know, I personally just wanted to update some of the lyrics to where I stand now. But I'm not ashamed of the original. And if somebody wants to play that, I'm like, oh my God, like I never should have did. That's where I was at 21. That's what I knew. That was my best to offer with wisdom that I had at the time and like what I thought you needed to get through life, you know? So that's a part of selling your soul. And that's why I tell people it's not even just music, fashion, and fame. People sell their souls every single day. Like when you're doing something contrary to who you really are, you are selling your soul.
Yes.
And there are people who benefit from you selling your soul, whether it's because you say, you know what, I love animals and I believe people should be eating food from the regions they live in that's grown there. It's the best for them. But I need a check, so I'm going to work at McDonald's every day. That's selling your soul every day. That's like chipping something away at you. Like if it's in your core a conviction, you know, that's selling your soul.
Agreed.
And eventually you're going to be miserable because you've done something for an amount of money which essentially isn't going to last.
Yeah. And that's why I say like there's not on one end, like probably 25% there are mental health and drug problems. But 75% is a social world problem. Like when you're forcing people to sell their souls and have to live a way that may be contrary to their very core belief and the reason they're put on this earth, you're going to get symptoms of that miserability and that uncomfortability of being stuck there, you know?
Absolutely. Agreed.
So, yeah.
The time has flown by. Michael, in a minute, let us know what you're working on, what you got coming up.
Wow. Right now, I'm just trying to concentrate on getting my getting the DJ career back on track. Since leaving Dubai, obviously because of COVID and stuff, haven't been able to do much. So just trying to get that back on track in Europe. Trying to get it to the US. Let's see where that goes. And then when it comes to music, just honestly just producing it and then putting it out on my Bandcamp. Not really a fan of SoundCloud, so yeah, just putting it out there. Yeah, just not a SoundCloud fan. But just doing it for me mostly. Just to get those creative juices out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one side, and then the DJ thing is where I want to make my bread and butter and play music that affects people's lives in a positive way. You know, in the sense that, oh, tonight's my night out. I want to chill. I want to have fun. I'm gonna do that. Or I want to go somewhere and listen to good music. I want to do that. So I want to be that. Well, I guess receptacle of good, like goodness. Even if it's just for a half hour that you're listening to music, I want to be that DJ that offers you that, basically. Even if it's just a mix on Bandcamp, I'm fine with it. It works.
Don't download that because I listen to mixes. Like I love like when I was a younger teen, like the rave scene and all that. Like I love a good mix, a good the DJ is still a highly respected and needed position. Absolutely. So.
Dash, what about yourself? What are you working on? What should we look out for?
At the moment, I'm going to be working on some new tracks because I like to do mashups, but I can never release them because I don't change them enough to legally get away with it.
Right.
So it's illegal, but as long as I don't show anyone, I have to do my mashups, which I think are really good. Now, obviously, I've got to say that. But then I have to show people on my phone, oh, do you like this? Yeah. Would you like a copy of it? Yeah. So I will be doing that in the, definitely tonight and, for the next foreseeable future.
Awesome.
How about yourself, Smooth D?
Empress.
What are you up to?
Let's go to Empress first. We got 1 minute 30 on the clock.
But we can't skip over you. I feel like I said a lot about myself, so your project's coming up.
Yeah, for me, everybody here has worked on my album.
Fact.
So, respect to that. It's been a pleasure working with you guys.
Definitely that.
We got a video coming up with next year. Dash and Empress are going to be in it. Dash, we got another video. Never Give In.
Yeah, we've got another one.
Never Give In.
Super excited, and it was lovely meeting you guys. Lovely.
Yeah, it was lovely meeting you guys as well. Especially because Dash, like those bars, like I'm gonna tell you, like when I heard that last edition, I was like, oh, this was needed up here. Like I really love what you have brought to the track.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you.
Yeah, no,
thank you so much.
I really did. I was like, yo, this was crazy. Like it was last minute, but I was like, nah, like this was needed. Like I like this up here, like for real.
Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Like don't hesitate, like to reach out, like if you want to like do something, because that's what I'm looking to do right now. Like I have 2 complete mixtape projects out. I don't know when I'm going to do another one, but I've been focusing on collabs and like, just networking with artists and trying different sounds and like seeing what's up. So, don't hesitate to like drop your line on Instagram or something. Yeah. Or anybody, any of you, like if you want to just don't hesitate.
All right, guys.
Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure. Thanks for joining the podcast. Right. And I'm going to speak to all of you soon anyway.
Yeah. All right.
Bless.
Thank you, guys.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, skip over the bases. There's a different air with me. There's a different air with me. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, skip over.
We can't stop. Nah, I won't stop. Give in. I'm never giving up. And nobody is stopping me. Most of you motherfuckers can't even do this properly. I'm dropping beats constantly. Stop the critics watching me. Dash is a pacifist, so fuck off if you want the beef. Logically, I've got to be the knob that people want to see. But I don't rap about gangs or bollocks to misogyny. Hypocrisy in the hip-hop scene to see.
Yo, big up to everybody who's watched the Deeper Look series. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to put it on a break for a bit, maybe bring it back in the middle of summer, maybe end of summer, we'll see how it goes. And I'm going to get this work done that some of you have been waiting for. So that's the album, Barack Obama. The episode you just watched had 3 collaborators on the album who are also involved in the up-and-coming singles that I'm going to drop. So, look out for those. In regards to the series, if you wanted to be live sometime in the future, let me know. Like for now, I just wanted to get the content out. I didn't want to go through the headache on sorting out the logistics of doing it live. But if that's something that you guys would like, let me know, and I'll start thinking about the best way to do that. And let me know what you think can be improved and whatnot. Yeah, that's it. Big up. Look out for the up and coming projects, and speak to you soon. Ciao.
Colours. Wi-Fi, let's unite, let's see your true colours. Whether it's dark or light, let's see your true colours. The black and white, they ain't even true colours. Show me your true colours.